It's the end of an era. I mentioned in my last video that they're having to carry out stabilisation work. They temporarily closed the ice tunnel here at the Guy de Midi to get down onto the glacier. Well, that stabilisation work involved completely knocking it down. It's now entirely gone. That's potentially thousands of years of ice gone in a day, basically. This has completely changed the complexion of the Guy de Midi now and getting out down onto the arête. And, well, yes, of course, in winter, snow will form here again. There will be a snow tunnel. There will never again, probably, be an ice tunnel in our lifetime. So, very, very sad. Not surprisingly, the arête is now in an absolutely terrible state. It's incredibly technical to get down onto the ice now. Many people will be opting to pitch it along there, probably belaying from here, belaying again at the rocks, and then rappelling down from the rocks to the most stable stance they can find. But yeah, it's only for serious alpinists now. It's black ice virtually the whole way. There's even a number of crevasses you have to cross on the steeper section as well. So all in all, an absolute mess. And not only that, but a few days ago, they temporarily closed the Guy de Midi lift station itself for a few hours in the morning to carry out some geotechnical inspections of the site after a number of very large rockfalls in the area had to check the stability. The rockfalls hadn't actually affected any of the platforms themselves, but it's better safe than sorry. And it is only a matter of time before they have to close the Guy de Midi completely. The entire structure now is basically held together by a bunch of concrete and cables. There's only so much concrete you can pour into the cracks before you stop gluing it together and start pushing it all apart. So whether it's in 10 years time, 20 years time, eventually they're going to have to decommission the site because it's just going to become too unstable. And if the conditions continue to deteriorate at the rate that they have this summer, it might be even less than that. So we very much are on borrowed time here. Which is why they're putting so much effort into the new top station at Grand Montet, because eventually, when the Guy de Midi is gone, that will become the new tourist attraction. That will become the focal point of the Chamonix Valley. And the other major news in this week's video is that as of probably about a week or so ago now, both the teryx and goat huts on the final mile of Mont Blanc are closed for the foreseeable future. That is because of the intensity and the seriousness of the rockfall down the Grand Couloir. It's just an absolute death trap now. It is to be avoided. So that means for perhaps the first time in history, the entirety of Mont Blanc is in effect closed to alpinists. The final mile on this side, the Goûter route, is closed. The Trois Monts route up Mont Blanc du Tacle, that's been impassable since mid-June due to the massive bergstrand and crevasses that are barring the way. Over on the Italian side, the Ganella route, the final mile from that side, that is also effectively closed for the season. While yes, you could do some of the harder routes such as the Briard Ridge or the start of the Royal Traverse, there is basically no easy way down now, so even those are probably out of the question. And not long after they closed the huts on the Goûter route, 32 alpinists had to be rescued from the top because they couldn't get down, and they were forced to pay for their rescue because they had ignored the warnings. They had ignored the fact that the route was in effect closed. Ordinarily in France, and particularly in Chamonix, mountain rescue is free. It is a service that is provided, but in effect they chose to make an example of these people and forced them to pay for a private helicopter to get them down because they ignored the warnings that they went up anyway. The Argentière Basin will also effectively be closed from the 22nd, as they're closing access up the Plangin gondola and also up the teryx footpath that goes up the piste to get up to the mid-station at the Grand Monte, which also means that the Argentière hut will be closing from the 22nd. There's no easy way to get up. It is still possible to get up, but yeah, there's no simple and straightforward way to get up there. So in effect, they're also closing off the Argentière Basin. But there's virtually nothing worthwhile you want to be doing up there anyway. And that's to allow the construction work to continue at a pace at the new mid-station at Grand Monte. And from the 24th of August, the Jura hut between the Dom de Miage and the Guy Bienassi will also be closed for the season. It's just become too dry, too unstable, too dangerous up there. People are still traversing that part of the Royal Traverse, but as I've already mentioned, there is no safe way to get down, and it is now very, very technical on the Guy Bienassi itself. There's lots of bare ice, lots of exposed rock. It is no longer the easy classic alpine route it has been for much of the season. And effective already, the municipality has brought out a municipal decree effectively banning bivouacking in the vicinity of a number of mountain huts in the Chamonix Massif. This includes the Albert Premier, the Envers, Cuvicule and the Argentière huts. The Argentière hut is closing anyway, but for all the others it will remain in effect until I believe 20th of September this year, and then from here on in, each summer, from the start of summer through to mid-September, you will effectively not be able to bivvy anywhere near those huts, with the exception of a handful of dedicated and predetermined pitched bivvy spots effectively, and these need to be booked via reservation, which to me implies they'll also involve a cost. This is something that I'm pretty angry about. While I understand the reasoning behind it, it's yet another barrier to alpinism, yet another step towards elitism. It means that in effect only those who are willing and able to pay for the huts will be able to go and do many of the classic routes in the area, which is just completely wrong in my opinion. Personally, I'd rather they got rid of the huts and then everybody could do it under their own steam. It remains to be seen how they'll actually be enforcing this. If you're out of sight of the hut and you're actually bivvying rather than pitching a tent and you leave no trace, then I don't see how they're going to stop you, but certainly the pitching of tents in the vicinity of the huts is strongly prohibited, except for, as I say, on designated pitches. And these are incredibly limited as well. I believe there's 10 in the vicinity of the Albert Premier and 5 in the vicinity of the other huts I mentioned, so very, very limited indeed. And as for the weather moving forward, things are very, very slowly starting to return to something resembling normality, but it's too late to save the season now. Damage has already been done. Today it's still very hot, as you can see. I'm up in my shorts and t-shirt, but the next couple of days, freezing level is coming back down towards normal. We will once again see some snow falling up here on the Guy de Midi. Nothing mega, maybe 10 to 15 centimetres again, and it won't be lasting snow. As soon as the sun comes back out, it will melt. We're still a long way off from getting the first lasting snow of the season at this altitude, I believe, but certainly the outlook going forward into the next week or so is remaining more unsettled than it has been. We will start to see a bit more snow falling up here. The freezing level will dip to around about 3,600 metres briefly before going back up above 4,000 metres again, but it is quite common around about this time of year, heading into the final week of August. We do see a distinct shift in the seasons basically from summer to much more autumnal weather, with a weather front coming through and the snow line starting to come back down. Now ordinarily we go from normal summer temperatures down to something a bit more autumnal. This year we're going to be going from extreme, the world is burning heat, down to average temperatures, so it's still not good news, but it's going to feel much more pleasant compared to the heat we have been having. In other news, the UTMB kicks off in Chamonix this weekend, with the first races starting on Monday, the 24th. For those of you who are unfamiliar with UTMB, Ultra Trail de Mont Blanc, it's the biggest trail running event in the world. Think the London Marathon in the mountains. It's absolutely huge. This is hands down the busiest week of the year by far in Chamonix. Forget February half term, forget Christmas and New Year, this is when it's at its busiest. So for the next few days we're going to have tens of thousands of people arriving into a valley which is already full, already at capacity. It's peak summer holidays, so numbers just don't add up. It's absolute chaos. So unless you're a trail runner yourself or you like the spectacle, this is absolutely the time of year to be avoiding Chamonix. You just can't move. Give it another couple of weeks, it'll be both cooler and quieter and you have a much better time, so definitely recommend waiting before visiting.